Hello folks, it's Gordon here, hope all is well with you. You could tell I'm getting back into doing lives and not quite used to it because the camera adjustment, I used to have it set up perfectly and I've got to otch about with it a bit now. There we go, is that alright? Yeah. Right, this video I've called Straight Lines and Print Samples because I've had my first print sample arrive this morning, which I'll show you in a minute. It's quite exciting for me. And I was going to talk about straight lines because I've made a schoolboy error. I was going to talk, the print sample I had done was of the painting that was won in the giveaway, and I've literally just finished packing that up. So I can't, the print sample that arrived was of that painting, so I can't show you the two to compare because I've literally just packed it up. Bit of a schoolboy error. I'm not unpacking it, let me tell you. So we'll have to make do. But what I found on all of my paintings, and I'll give you another example. Well, here's another landscape. What I like doing on mine is putting masking tape around the edge to create its own border. And it's a square canvas, and I use masking tape to create a square image space. But they're not as square as they look. And I do that on not all of my paintings, but most of them, because I quite like the effect and it's easy to do and it's nice and neat and tidy. But these canvases, whether they're square or rectangle, are not quite as straight as they seem. The corners are, sometimes the edges are not quite straight. And obviously when I'm putting masking tape on, I just do it roughly. That looks square enough. They look square enough. And when I take an image, what I've done up to now pretty much is taken an image of the painting with a little bit of the background around it. You may have noticed that. So it's of the actual physical painting. So again, I don't have to worry about the edges so much. When it comes to uploading for prints, uploading an image file for the prints, I do have to worry about the edges because they are straight. The image files have got to be straight. You can't send a sort of wonky image. And it's been a real problem for me because as I crop the image closer in to get all of the background out, it really drives home the fact that the borders are wonky and the images are wonky. So what I did with this first print sample that I ordered, I was having problems cropping the image border wise, is that on this site called the Print Space is the company in London, they allow you to upload an image file and then you can choose to add a border on the image file if you want. So what I did was created a square image, just the image. So I created that image without the borders, so then I could add the borders on once I was in their interface to see how it worked. And it's arrived this morning. It took a couple of days to arrive, and it's on, well, let me show it to you. There it is. It's 8 by 8. Now it's more bent than I thought. I wasn't expecting to be bent at all, but never. And it didn't come in a roll. It came sandwiched between bits of card. So I mean, I can flatten that out. I'm not going to sit on it, but I'll put a bit of weight on it and it'll flatten out. And anyway, if someone puts that in a frame, it would be flattened out anyway. So that is 8 by 8. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, by the way, here's a photo print I had done on Fujifilm crystal archive paper. I had that done a year, maybe 2 years ago, when I thought about toying with the idea. Now that is flat and it's a photo print. So it's not a card, it's not a paper print, it's a photo print. Now they might work better for, I don't know, my photos maybe, rather than photos of paintings. A glossy image, glossy sheen. This one's got a matte finish to it. And I like a glossy paint and a glossy finish. So that's something for me to... Now you see on this one, this is a case in point. I had real trouble cropping the border on this one, so I ended up uploading an image without the border. And although it worked, it doesn't quite look the same because the original painting... Have I got the original painting lurking somewhere? No, not to hand, but the original painting has got a white border. So yeah, looking at this one, which has come today, what I do like about that is the colour, and it's a richness of colour, which is what they said you can get on this particular paper. It's Hahnemühle is the type of paper. I don't know if that's the type of paper or the brand of paper. It's bamboo paper, so it's ecologically friendly. I don't know, maybe is that why it's bent? It's bamboo paper, but that's a nice reproduction of the image. And it's very colourful, and it's 8x8. Now, there's the reason why I did it on 8x8, because this company, the Print Space, do podcasts about art marketing, talking to artists who use their service, and they do a drop shipping service as well. So I could sell these now. I can sell them via Etsy or Shopify or Wix or my own site even, or I could just order them in and then send them on myself. They were talking to one artist called Leah Gardner. I think she's Canadian, she is, I think. And she paints oils on 6x6 originals. Now 6x6 is that size, and that's the size that was originally. And then what she does is she sells a print at 8x8. So what she does is she sells the original 6x6. I use acrylics, not oils, because they're less messy. Can't be doing with that mess. Or the smell. Can't be doing with the smell. So I use acrylics. Anyway, so there's a 6x6 original, and then she sells an 8x8 print. And I think now she's moved to selling 12x12s as well. But that's her model. It's a fairly simple model. She's not over complicating it. So I thought I'd get an 8x8 print to see how that turned out. Now I like that. And she will sell that for $50 for the print. $50. What's that in pounds? 35, 40 pounds? Something like that. It's fascinating, isn't it? So it's exciting for me to get my first, well, it's not my first sample, because I said I got that before as a photo print sample. See, it's flimsy, a photo print. That is, you're probably going to be framing that. And you're probably going to be framing that as well. Although once I've straightened it out, you could stand it up. Yeah, you can stand that up. Oh, yeah. You can stand that up, that's okay. Yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you like the richness of colour, well, richness of colour, I suppose that depends on what the original image is, but the way the colours really come out nicely on the print. I like that. I'm quite pleased with that. Now, when I say that this artist Leah Gardner took on the Print Space podcast, who is the company who've made this print, and it's the one she uses, she'll sell that for $50. How much do you think her originals go for? The original 6x6, if she's selling a print for $50. Interesting question. And if you want to go and find out, you can go and look her up, Leah Gardner. Just type in Google Leah Gardner art, something like that, and you'll come across her stuff. She's on Facebook as well, Twitter, Instagram. She's all over, obviously. And it leads me to pricing of my paintings, because I haven't put pricings on my paintings yet. I will be doing that come the 1st of February. And I've got rough idea of where I'm going to be going to start with, since it's a new adventure for me promoting art in 2023. But at the moment, until the 1st of February, i.e. through January the 31st, I've got a promotion where you can set the price of one of my paintings. If you're thinking about buying an original painting, you can set the price, or you can make me an offer for the price. You can send me a message and say, oh, I'm interested in buying say that original painting, 6x6, or that original painting, 8x8 on canvas panel board, and I'd like to pay you, I would be prepared to pay this amount for it. Make me an offer. You might want to buy that painting on, I think it's 20x8 canvas acrylic. You might say, yeah, I'd like to buy that, and this is what I would pay you for it. It's an interesting experiment, because I might say to you, yeah, I would take that amount for it, and then you can decide whether you want to buy it or not. So making a suggestion and making me an offer is not a contract to buy. Does that make sense? It's just a suggestion. Or I might say to you, no, that's below the minimum that I would take, and the minimum is this, and then you can decide. Ooh, here's another sample I got, by the way. I'd forgotten about this. That is a, what happened there? That canvas might have a hole in it now. That is a print, a framed art print that I got done at Redbubble, which is a company that does all sorts of things. Like they did some coasters for me. That's a different way of getting your art images out there. This is a framed print, so it came like this. This is the finished product. It's quite thick. It's a nice frame, and it's a nice, lovely reproduction, I think, of an 8x8 canvas. You can't see the details that well on that. I wonder if I can turn the camera around and get up closer to it. No, that doesn't really work either. But actually, you can see the brush strokes on the print. I quite like that, but it comes at a print, and if you buy that on Redbubble, that would cost you about £55, which is not bad, and it means that I don't have to do anything. You just order it from Redbubble. They make it, send it out to you. I don't touch it or hold the product or anything. But the difference is, and it's quite a big difference, when you order something on Redbubble, the way their commission structure is made, the artist gets 15%. So if you pay, let's call that £50, call that £50 roughly, I would get £7, £7.50 is 15% of that, isn't it? Yeah. I would get £7.50. Now you might think that's not much, and you'd be right. But of course, I don't have to do anything. All I've done is upload the image. I don't have to do anything more, and they could sell hundreds a day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As it happens, that's not quite the case at the moment, because Redbubble is just a platform. They don't do any promotion. It's just a platform in order for you to sell products. You've got to do the promotion yourself. Interesting, isn't it? Whereas this one, for example, I could order that in, and then I set the price myself, and I would make more profit selling one of these than I would if someone buys that from Redbubble at £50 odd. But it's already framed, see? The customer there hasn't got to worry about framing or mounting. That is the finished product. Whereas if a customer buys this, and I would have flattened it by the time they get it, they've got to go out and buy a frame. Now you can buy 8x8 frames for £2.50 or something like that on Amazon. That's not expensive. And when you do buy a framed product, and the Print Space, where I got that done, they do frames, but they charge a lot for their frames, and Redbubble charge a lot for their frames. So I'm thinking maybe I should just get the prints done and let the customer buy their own frames, because that's a cheaper way for the customer to do it. Okay, so that's quite exciting. Thought I would show you the first new sample, because I've got my photo sample. Don't know what I've done with it now. That photo sample I showed you, and the framed art print sample that I showed you, because there's nothing like getting an actual physical sample, because this is the bamboo paper, and for some reason I hadn't expected it to be as thick and as sort of solid as that. I don't know why, because it's a fine art print. I'd expecting it to be a bit more, I don't know, canvassy. I don't know why. And they say on their site that this is a sort of textured paper, so it gives a bit more of a painting feel. Yeah, yeah, sort of, I'm not really sure about that, which is why I ordered a sample. It's nothing better than actually getting a sample if you're thinking about going down different routes for selling. And as I say, of course, you don't have to worry about prints or anything if you were to buy an original one of my paintings, and you can make me an offer for the price, and that is a promotion running to the end of the 31st of January. Okay, signing off for now. And let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your comments. Leave your thoughts below wherever you happen to be seeing this video. Signing off for now, wishing you as ever health and happiness, and I'll speak to you again soon.